about a month ago, and actually New York Post, they actually came out and they did an article. There were only 40 of us protesting against Karen Bass to resign, and we know she won't, just like Gavin won't. But they wrote it up, and she had a homeless encampment, not even 400 feet away from her mansion. Now, they have an ordinance.
I got to take another call before I start off, but the one thing is definitely true. More people feel today like, hey, you know, maybe you're what they would call a closeted Trump supporter in 2016, or even maybe 2020. Now it's just like, yeah, I'm a loud and proud Trump supporter, and that's a phenomenon we're definitely realizing. Let's go to Josh in Florida. Josh, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Owen, how you doing?
Good.
Calling about, Pam Bondi and stuff, being in Florida, she is what's repped here or whatever. And the one thing that concerns me about her is because is her gun rights. And she was for red flag laws. Well, we all know that red flag laws are, bullshit. They don't work. Excuse my swearing. So seeing Trump's executive order about protecting the Second Amendment really put hope in me, and I'm really hoping Pam Bondi, really digs deep into it, and of course other things as well. Of course, getting, a pro-Second Amendment, officer head of the ATF would be great too.
Or just get rid of the ATF. Well, and I would say to put it into context, and look, you deal with this a lot in politics, and I have to deal with it every day from people. And this is why I'm constantly spending time talking about purism and why I'm not a political purist, and how in politics you have to take the good with the bad. And this is kind of a perfect example of what you're talking about. Pam Bondi, if I understand the context, when the school shooting in Florida, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High, Pam Bondi kind of, came out and made some statements. I believe that was the context in which you're talking about with the red flag laws. I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying, let's just put everything into context. I could sit here and I could be concerned with that. I could be concerned with some other things. But I think the approach we have to take here, Pam Bondi is a good person. Pam Bondi is not a crook. She is not out to deceive or lie or steal. I don't even look at it as a lesser of two evils. It's like, look, if you're a good person that doesn't want to lie to me, deceive me, or steal from me, yeah, I can deal with some political differences, maybe even some policy differences, because that's what we've been dealing with for our entire lives, Josh, is liars, deceivers, and thieves.
I'm just glad Trump's in office. I'm glad that things are happening the way they are now. But, it's good to see also in Congress, the gun rights, there is the Suppressor Act that's trying to get passed. And, of course, anybody listening, call your representatives. Let's get that passed so to make suppressors fully legal and off the ATF direct, registration.
Yeah, just abolish the ATF. Let's just put all these arguments aside. Let's just abolish the ATF. That's how we go about that, Josh. Thank you for the call. That does it for the InfoWars War Room for today. We're going to be covering Trump's big press conference exposing government abuse and theft. Stay tuned. 21-hour break. We'll see you then. I got some exciting announcements.
Start the year right and do something to protect your hard-earned money. Major financial companies like JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs are very bullish on gold after a stellar 2024, with the hugest gains in the last 15 years. Gold is up 35% from 1 year ago and over 75% in the past 3 years. And gold has outperformed the stock market. The numbers don't lie. So how do you get started with precious metals like gold and silver? Call the experts at Epic Gold for a free info kit at 800-598-9938, 800-598-9938, or visit epicgold.com. That's EPIQgold.com. With Epic Gold, you can now invest in a self-directed IRA that includes gold and silver. It's tax-deductible and penalty-free. Get a free info kit and automatically be registered to win a 3 gold coin set valued at over $5,000. No purchase necessary. To learn more, go to epicgold.com. That's EPIQgold.com. epicgold.com.
Are you behind on your taxes? You're not alone. Americans have been hit with a triple punch. Businesses and paychecks slashed by the pandemic, Record inflation and soaring interest rates have left people across the nation stuck with serious tax problems. But the past does not have to be your future. A fresh start can begin with a simple phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Their tax attorneys and licensed professionals specialize in powerful taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. Having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients, their track record says it all.
800-611-8892. Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Strong national defense. Legal immigration. We are Sirius XM Patriot. Channel 125. Conservative principles live here.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomas. Wholesale prices came in hotter than expected last month at a time when progress against inflation appears to have stalled. The Labor Department says producer prices rose 0.4% last month from December, up 3.5% from January a year ago. Following Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's threat.
Very positive on this. An Egyptian TV channel which is close to intelligence there put out a report saying that Egypt and Qatar say that the parties in the ceasefire deal are committed to implementing it. We know that in particular they've been working on the Hamas complaints about aid going into Gaza, notably fuel and shelters.
President Trump has more to say about government waste, fraud, and abuse, and he plans to say it later today.
You give millions and millions of dollars to somebody that stands to look at something for 15 minutes and walks away with millions of dollars. That money's coming back in some form. And that's only one form of corruption.
Mr. Trump says he'll detail where some of the hundreds of millions of dollars of wasted taxpayer money has gone. Attorney General Bondi is suing New York State officials, including the governor. State's
New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. It stops today.
Among other things, New York has a law allowing illegal aliens to get a driver's license and requiring them to be told when federal immigration authorities have requested their information. Bondi says that is unconstitutional. On Wall Street, ahead of this morning's opening bell, Dow futures are up 75 points, Nasdaq futures 59 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
A new president is sworn in. America's greatness is being restored. And there's breaking news every minute. Now, tens of millions of Americans are turning off Fox and CNN and tuning in to Newsmax for the breaking information they need to know. Finding yourself on all major cable systems and on your TV or smartphone store. Just download the Newsmax app for free and start watching. You'll get great shows with Bob Schmidt, Britta Ancestral, Rob Verdi, Carl Higbee, and more. Find out why millions of Americans have made the switch. Even President Trump says Newsmax is terrific, and he's watching. So make the switch to Newsmax. Check us out on cable and satellite TV, or download the Newsmax app today. Watch us anytime.
Got to get coffee.
The chancellor suggests that President Trump has conceded too much too soon in his talks with Russia's Putin about ending the war in Ukraine.
The US has already promised Russia two things it wants: to retain Ukrainian territory it captured, and not to have NATO on its doorstep by allowing Ukraine to join. Mr. Trump has announced he'll meet Vladimir Putin to discuss the conflict, but he may now find himself short of bargaining chips. Germany's Chancellor Olaf Scholz has also weighed in, warning against peace being imposed on Ukraine.
The BBC lost. China is putting the pedal to the metal when it comes to power plant construction. New report says China began construction on nearly 100 gigawatts of new coal plant capacity last year, the most in almost a decade. Predictably, it has clean energy advocates concerned. They say it threatens to undercut the impact of China's massive expansion of solar and wind power. News and analysis, townhall.com.
Truth is the authority. All right, first thing, bring your A game because I'll take nothing less. We're going to have an open and honest discussion, but the facts matter. Let's talk about the people. It's common sense. It's principles and policies that work for everybody. I just want to talk about how to fix this country. The Daily Web Show.
Be right back.
We'll continue moving at the speed of Trump because that is about the only way to put this. It really is. Let's face it, we have Senate confirmation hearings still underway. RFK Jr. floor vote today. Kash Patel in the Judiciary Committee. Linda McMahon. So much more to cover. So much more to talk about. And then, of course, the DOGE efforts overseas on the international stage with the Secretary of the Treasury in the Ukraine, with Pete Hegseth in Europe, the Secretary of Defense. And in the House, they're also very busy. I'll just put it that way. There is a lot of work to be done across all branches of government. And this is where co-equal meets conflict at times, and hopefully not too much with the Republicans. We haven't even gotten to the end of the week yet, do you realize that? We have not even gotten to the end of the week. So I want you to let that sink in for a moment. Cyber, of course, is across the board one of the more important discussions that we need to have in the country. Our cybersecurity as a nation, individual and government, for that matter, corporate and government. And then, of course, in a brand new world with a fifth space, as many will refer to it, and I think I agree with that, cyber is all around us. It is a part of our world. The Cyber Pivot, P-I-V-O-T-T Act, it's key to have that extra T, is being, or will be debated in the future in the House Committee on Homeland Security, led by Chairman Mark Green. The committee had a hearing entitled Preparing the Pipeline, examining the state of America's cyber workforce. And all of these are components of this fifth space and a part of our world. Chairman Mark Green joins me now. Congressman, great to have you here. Let's dive right in. The reintroduction of the Cyber Pivot Act.
Well, thank you for having me on and highlighting those. I think a big part of our responsibility is to help educate the American people on the threat, cybersecurity as a threat, and the shortages that we have as a nation, the weak point, in continuing on cybersecurity and the other bad actors. So thank you.
But it is, as some have referred to it, that in some form, whether it be in the war space, which I'm sure you're familiar with, but also in the world we live in. It's important, and it's not separate from each other. It's not as if corporations are separate from individuals that are separate from military. So walk us through this point by point, if you will, on what the key threats are and what the goal is with the Cyber Pivot Act.
Yeah, we released actually this week, I think it was actually yesterday, 60 acts of espionage by the Chinese Communist Party over the last 4 years inside the United States. And of course, the spy balloon is probably the thing that's most notable to people. It's played out on national television. Intrusions into our infrastructure. So imagine that the Chinese have access to your water system, your power system, all that. They infiltrated our infrastructure. They infiltrated our telephone. They got into all of the telecommunications systems. If you hear this typhoon, and it's sort of, we say Volt typhoon or Salt typhoon based on whomever they included. Silk typhoon, they got into the U.S. Treasury Department. I mean, this is, honestly, if you could visualize them being in our Verizon or AT&T cell towers with the ability to disrupt our telecommunications, it would really be no different than the Russians planting a satchel charge to blow the tower up. yet Americans and most people don't equate the two. And so China wants to unseat the United States as the global hegemon. And it goes all the way back to the Qin dynasty, and Xi Jinping is acting more like the emperor of the Qin dynasty than any other in the history of China, which is just brute force and bullying and he's a totalitarian dictator.
Morning, Outlaw.
And so they believe very firmly in the Sun Tzu Art of War philosophy of there can be only one tiger on top of the mountain. And they're working aggressively on multiple strategic levels to unseat us. And so being in our cybersecurity or in our systems, if we go and try to defend Taiwan and invasion of Taiwan, they can just call us up and say, well, we're about to shut down all your water, or we're about to shut down all your power. You might want to rethink that. That is a chip, so to speak. That is a military tool at that point. And so cyber defense is critical. The greatest need in cyber defense is workforce, because we're 500,000 people short. Empty slots in cybersecurity today, tomorrow it'll be full. And so that's why I introduced the Pivot Act, the threat, and now the response is Cyber Pivot Act, step one.
Two things come to mind as I listen to you walk us through this.
Hey, Dirty.
One is, in the form of a question, hey, what does a resilient cyber posture look like? What does that framework look like? And also, in order to get to that point, and to your point about not having enough people in the space, enough experts, what type of education track do we need to get the population there so that they're able to do the job you're talking about?
So my cell phone blinked out there just a second, David. I hate to ask you. Could you ask that question again?
Two things. No, that's all right. That's technology. We are talking about cyber. Maybe they're listening to us. One, what does a resilient cyber posture look like, given your answer? And the people that are, the numbers that we need, we're short on the workforce component. What type of education track do we need to focus on to get to having the personnel capable of getting us to that resilient cyber posture?
The resilience looks like systems and people. CISA is in Department of Homeland Security, and we've been building up that entity to defend the .gov, as well as to partner with private industry to, build their resilience. The challenge is that the United States, we've had the perspective that private industry takes care of itself, government takes care of itself. Unfortunately, when it's a nation state, even entities as big as Microsoft, Colonial Pipeline, all these huge companies, they can't defend themselves against the nation state, and so the government has got to be more involved. So we're doing a paradigm shift there.
No, it doesn't.
We're building up CISA to be able to do that job. Meanwhile, we're short people, right? So resilience looks like systems and people. The greatest shortage is the people, and education is the key. So, but what we don't need is necessarily a 4-year degree in cyber. I mean, if this is a technical thing, you can take a 2-year degree and become a cyber defender, right? So this Pivot Act provides for, it's very similar to ROTC. A lot of people understand
people don't know how to fucking drive this shit.
You pay the government back by serving in the military X number of years, and there's a positive ROI for the government. And so we're doing this with cyber. A kid or a mid-career professional says, I want to pivot to a different career, and they go and get a 2-year degree. We pay for it. They just have to go and serve in government. And they pay us back that way. It costs us about $200,000 roughly to pay for a specialist. So we can quickly pay back a 2-year degree if we're making that person a GS, let's say 15 or 13 or 14, whatever. And that's a huge savings. We pay back that investment, or the individual
about
pays
the
back
rabbits.
that investment, And then they're free to go work in you know, the private sector and make the big bucks for themselves, as well as you know, defending our systems. Because what a lot of people don't realize is a lot of our infrastructure is private companies. No, they're public-private partnerships, but a lot of that infrastructure, whether it be a power, you know, Westinghouse in a nuclear power plant in Georgia or whatever, right? Those things are private companies. So I like to think of it a lot like the GI Bill. Remember, guys would come home from war, they'd get their degree, and then they'd go out and enhance the economic prosperity of this country. I see this as something very similar to that, an opportunity to make a huge difference for the entire country, but initially in that payback period, protecting the government.
My guest, Congressman Mark Green from Tennessee 7th District, Chairman of the House Committee on Homeland Security. We have a number of them, of course, the big one in California, but the tech sector writ large in this country, because this is a workforce that benefits them, obviously.
Oh, absolutely. They have been incredibly supportive and positive about this. You know, the old icons of IBM, you know, coming out saying that they supported, and the new players in the market, relatively new players in the market, like Palo Alto Networks and London, totally focused on cybersecurity. In fact, we're going to do what we call a field hearing, where we pick up the entire committee, take it to Palo Alto, California, and we're going to tour some cybersecurity in the company, and then we're going to hold a hearing on cybersecurity and how we better defend this nation. That's going to happen, I think, right after Memorial Day, that week after Memorial Day. So this is my number one after the southern border, and the president pretty much takes care of the southern border. So we're focusing on the cyber border, and my job is to do everything I can to make sure it's as solid as it possibly can be.
Maximizing American human capital. That's a fancy way of saying let's get those kids educated, let's get people educated, and in some cases there are those who might want to switch into another aspect of their career or a new career. All things that we need, and given the numbers that you said, we're short. We literally are working at a deficit against our enemies around the world. Our friends, okay, that's a different story, but we should be concerned about our enemies. Congressman, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Congressman Mark Green, Tennessee 7th District, Chairman of the House Committee on Homeland Security, 866-95-PATRIOT, 957-2874. Education, part of today's discussion. Linda McMahon, it's not just the Department of Education, but education for the nation. When the president said in the Oval Office within the last day or two, it was 2 days ago, that looking at the country, looking at how we're ranked in education, and I get it, the metrics, the way they measure, and all of that needs to be part of the discussion, but if you're number 40 on the list, and we are, according to one metric, and we're the United States of America, let's say they're even off by a little bit, we have a giant problem. Human capital, brain power.
Yeah.
We invented it. We need to continue to lead the world, and if we don't, our enemies are going to take advantage. RFK Jr., Linda McMahon, Cash Patel, so much more, possibly a hearing on Rollins as well. There's a lot going on down on the Hill, and Democrat resistance continues. No, I will not play the song again. I got the message. We even played a clip of it last night on the Bottom Line, and I heard from some of you that you don't want to hear this anymore. So I won't do that. 866-95-PATRIOT, 957-2874. Hey, it's no secret. Auto repair costs are sky high. And if you have a vehicle under 20 years old that's out of warranty or about to be, well, the top-rated vehicle coverage provider, Endurance, offers low-cost auto protection designed to save you, the driver, thousands on those ever-rising vehicle repair costs. So if you qualify, you pick your plan, your coverage, even your repair shop, roadside assistance, towing rental car coverage included with all plans. And once your vehicle is protected, all those covered auto repairs get paid directly to the shop for you. Act now and you can get upgraded with a full year of their elite benefits, a $2,000 value free. Don't get stranded by auto breakdown, risk having to pay thousands for expensive repairs. Take my advice, get your vehicle protected now and never pay for covered repairs again. So, who's going to pay for your next auto repair, you ask? Well, is it going to be you or inDOCtriNATION? For your free quote, call 800-291-3183, 800-291-3183, 800-291-3183.
The Will Majority.
Coming up right after the David Webb Show, we're talking to the Secretary of Veteran Affairs, Doug Collins, and former Libertarian presidential candidate Bob Barr about Doge. That's after Webb.
The Will Majority coming up next at noon East after the David Webb Show on SiriusXM Patriot.
You didn't start a business to babysit your poorest performing employees. That's exactly why I started my business, so you don't have to. Hi, I'm Alan Jones, founder and CEO of Bambi. I created Bambi so small business
Later,
owners
brother.
take
Thanks for hanging out.
Need to fire a poor performing
I'm going to be there in 10 minutes anyway.
3 months off? Your Bambi HR manager will take care of that for you in
Thanks
your
for popping
first week
in.
with us. You spend your time coaching your A players, we'll take care of the rest. I'm so confident that Bambi will help you focus on what you love about running your business that I'm offering a $1 trial to the service for your first month. Trust me, there are no limits to the amount of calls or questions you can give your Bambi HR manager. After your first month, just $29 a month. For
Oh, that's
companies of
horrible,
any size,
dude.
Month to month, no hidden fees, cancel anytime. Get a month of Bambi for just $1.
I hope things get better for you and her. For sure.
First call with an HR manager right now. Go to BAMBEE.com, Patriot Radio.
Yeah.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-625-4250. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-625-4250. That's 1-888-625-4250. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-625-4250. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold and gold currencies. Consult with a tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Hello, I'm Mike Huckabee. President Trump has made history and is back in the White House. And your kids need to know what this means for their future and our country. That's why
we came up with? And you're going to love it. We're going to sit in the office one morning at like 7 a.m. and tape something. I'll bring it over. Because that's the only time there is. She has no time. I have no. It's the speed of Trump. Bill, New York, 866-95-PATRIOT. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, David. I'm like all New Yorker. I get my Mega Millions ticket, and I look at the ticket, and it says, we are committed to helping education in New York. Lottery has contributed more than $86 billion to the New York State public schools. Where's the money?
Where's the money, you ask? Where's the money?
Where's the money? Where's the money in the whole lottery system? What are they doing?
You really want the answer to that? Because I do too.
I think all these people need to be audited with Doge, all of them. New York, all of them. There shouldn't be a sanctuary city in any of the United States that should be against the Constitution. That's all there is to it.
Well, isn't it a good thing that we actually have a attorney general who's going to go after New York State and top officials for this sanctuary city, quote, designation? It's not a law. It's not a legal entity. It's illegal. It's in contravention to the law of the land. So finally, we have an AG who's going to, go after them, and rightfully so.
God bless them all.
It's an insane world we live in, my friend. It's absolutely insane. Democrats have no interest in fixing these issues, and there is no. The curtain's been pulled back, the mask pulled off, literally and figuratively. Not for some of them; they're still walking around with their masks on, but literally and figuratively pulled away. And no matter what we do, they are going to obstruct. Bill, thanks for the call. 866-95-PATRIOT, 957-2874. Jeff, North Carolina, go ahead.
Yeah, hey, David, good morning. How are you today?
Busy morning, man. Like I said, where is the time? I don't know. Speed of Trump.
Yeah, proof like smoke through a keyhole. I don't know if you came across what Doge posted on Instagram yesterday that Josh Shapiro and the Pennsylvania heads of the state police were implicated by a whistleblower that they were involved in the attempted assassination of Trump and his butler.
Not aware of that. Who posted that?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that was posted on Instagram by Doge yesterday.
I'd have to see it. Call me skeptical of that. Not you, obviously. But I'd have to see that. And I don't. Is Doge even using Instagram? Check that out.
He posted on it, and
who's he?
I know that he posts on X, but
no, who's he? Elon?
Oh, Elon Musk, yeah. Or somebody in the Doge group.
Let's see. I see Elon Musk here. I see Elon Musk now. I don't see Elon Musk on Instagram.
Oh, okay. Well, again, like you, I took it with a grain of salt. But if it's true, that would be very interesting. And I was wondering if you can talk with your folks over at Fox and the other news outlets that you participate with.
I'll tell you what. I literally do not see. I'm looking at Instagram right now, and I do not see an official Elon Musk account.
Okay. Well, hey, that's why we put eyeballs on everything and check it. But always say it doesn't exist until proven otherwise, right?
Yep. Always, and especially on social media these days, with a giant grain of salt. Matter of fact, giant boulder of salt. And whatever this is that somebody puts that up in this crap doesn't help. Whether it's this or something else, it does not help when people put up, and again, first of all, nothing like this has ever come across my thought process radar or any source or anything. But people need to stop this crap. We have enough to do that. We don't need the distractions. You know that, Jeff. Hey, buddy, I got to go to my next guest here, but good to have you. Good to have you clue me in on that. But now at least, hey, look, we debunk them.
Yeah, thanks.
And thanks to you, we're able to do that. I appreciate that, Jeff. Really do. Yeah, please stop. Well, I know it's not going to stop. Please stop. We've got a lot more things to deal with here. And right now, to my next guest, Congressman Andy Ogles, Tennessee's 5th District. Tennessee's well represented on the show today. This is the End the Deep State Act. The goal here, of course, to codify President Trump's executive orders. So let's work through this with the congressman. First, let's have the lowdown, if you will, on the Deep State Act. What's going on?
Yeah, what we saw well, first off, thanks for having me on the show. Always a pleasure. But, what we saw in Trump's first administration is he would have a plan. He would push it down to his secretaries. And when it goes to implementation, you would have this deep state. You would have these bureaucrats that have worked for the government for decades. They wouldn't do their jobs. They would actually work against the American people. They wouldn't follow the orders of the president. So the president has an executive order, Schedule F, that basically says that if you are someone who has access to confidential material or policy making or implementation type role, we can fire you if you're not doing your job. And oh, by the way, you on this radio show, you have to do a job. There's an accountability mechanism for you. If you don't show up to work, if you're not doing your job, you get fired. I get fired if I don't do my job. And so that being said, so now what this does, it creates accountability in Washington, D.C. So you don't have to like the president. You don't even have to agree with the president, but you still have to do your job. Now, the problem with an executive order is that when the next president comes along, they can just make it disappear. The stroke of a pen, it goes away. So by having a law and codifying it, putting into a law, this ensures that from now on, as we go forward, if we can get this passed, that if you work for the government, you actually have to do your job. And oh, by the way, if you're at home, you should probably get back to work.
Yeah, help us understand, because there's a role for Congress. You're a member of Congress. There's the executive orders we're talking about, and at times there's a need for legislative action, right? The way the Constitution outlines it, passage in the Congress, House, Senate, signed by the president. Tie that all together for us, because I want people to understand clearly what you're proposing.
So the big difference between an executive order is the policy, so whether it's Biden under his term or Obama or in this case President Trump, an executive order is only in effect until the next president comes along. And then that president can determine, you know what, I don't like that executive order. I'm going to undo it.
All right, guys.
Literally with the stroke of a
Later.
pen, it goes away. Now, if it's a law, it's something